This year we've done a couple projects about sustainability that all of the Spanish classes did together.
One day, instead of having class, we took a bus down to the organic farm, which is 10 or so minutes away from campus, and it was really cool. I mean, it's an organic farm. The tour guides who were with us spoke Spanish as well.
They also took us down to the fields, and then they talked about how they rotate crops, what they use the crops for. Prior to going to the farm, we had a reading on sustainability, sustainable development, both in other countries and in the United States. Every student had to come up with 2 questions in Spanish to ask the tour guides.
The trip to the farm seemed like it was tailored to me specifically almost. It really helped me familiarize with the language and be more adaptable with it.
We had this big overarching project that went across all 3 levels of Spanish, so Spanish 1, 2, and 3 for the introductory courses.
So we had a food truck that we helped build from the bottom up and went all the way to serving food, and so each Spanish class took a different role in this food truck project.
My class's participation was to try to advertise the food truck and to learn about the organic farm at Dartmouth and how that played into what we were doing to try to make food that was both Spanish-based but also sustainable.
Early in the morning, we went up and we were cooking in Mikasa, which is the Spanish house here on campus. Everyone lined up and there were several students in a row vigorously chopping onions and trying not to cry.
The idea of working in the kitchen in kind of like a fast-paced, dynamic environment really kind of gave me a much better grasp on the language and how to use it in a real-world experience.
All the students were very excited about it, and a lot of the professors brought their kids as well. It was very high energy, and they had loud music playing, and people were dancing, and a lot of people also brought their own plates, also sort of going towards that sustainability factor. We weren't creating a lot of waste. When we get up to the food truck, we had to order in Spanish, and then they gave us our food.
The way our class is conducted, it's really a Spanish immersion experience, and so I think it's less that it was overtly said this is important for your Spanish education and more like integrating our language into the way that we talk about sustainable development.
I'd say the cornerstone of any liberal arts school is kind of just giving the students the tools to solve problems and not the solutions. And I think working in an environment where we kind of have to draw our own ideas and our own leadership to solve the problem of getting this food prepared definitely kind of honed in on that liberal arts idea.
I feel like what we do has a purpose, and I feel like if you're talking about experiential learning is really like an application of your knowledge, I think that this was a really good project in that sense because it allows you to take your knowledge of the Spanish language and really see in a real world context, if I'm making social media posts or if I'm trying to write a paper in Spanish, I can do that.
Breaking out of that structured mold to the classroom and really just taking the fundamentals that we learned in Spanish class and then applying those to a real-world situation, using different commands, using subjunctive, asking questions, kind of coordinating with multiple different people. It definitely challenged my knowledge of Spanish and allowed me to develop that fundamental base to really expand as a student.